Hello, everybody. My name is Jackie Hastings, and I'm a newer Emerald with Plexus. And I'm coming to you live tonight from my Jeep because, with the craziness of this world and living in the middle of the UP, my internet for trying to do this tonight was not good. So, I am currently using the Wi Fi of work outside. And so, if my light shuts off, I have to restart. But what I want to say is when you're thinking you can't do this and you can come up with 8,000 reasons why you can't do this, it's mindset. And you can decide and come up with a creative reason why you can do this, or you can come up with a lot of reasons you can't do this. So tonight I had to come up with reasons I can. With the whole social distancing thing, there are no coffee shops or restaurants in the state of Michigan that you can actually go into. They are all closed for takeout only. So I appreciate your patience with me. One of the things that I want to talk to you all about tonight is that vision casting. And with that is connecting with your team. So it is hard to get people to follow you if you don't have some sort of relationship with them. And with that, we talk about all the time having chats with people on multiple levels and being involved in three-way chats. And we get a lot of people who will say, I don't need to have other people in my chats. Why do I need to have that? I know what I'm doing, or this person doesn't want to talk to anybody else other than me. And I can tell you 99.99% of the people that I have had not continue with Plexus are those people who don't want to be in those chats, who don't want the help, who don't want the support, who don't want that encouragement. And I have found that I definitely would not be where I'm at today if I wasn't involved in chats with multiple levels of people, excuse me. In fact, I had one of my ladies drop out. She had a lot of personal things going on. And if I had not been involved in those chats, I would not have been in contact with Lauren, who was my first Emerald. Pretty exciting. I wouldn't have had that relationship with her. I wouldn't have had the relationship with Erin under her. You know, I wouldn't have had those things. I have other people who, times in our lives, things happen, right? You have a baby, or you get sick, or you have a family member have something going on, and you may not be as active at one time or another for whatever reason it is. And if I did not have those relationships with those people, level 2, level 3, whatnot, when that person had a little time off, I wouldn't have been able to help that person, and they would have been lost as well. So with that, I want to encourage you to get to know not just your level 1s, but your level 2s, 3s, 4s, even down the line. We get those messages all the time when we go into our virtual office and it says, you have a new join. And a quick message to whatever level you've got, just say, hey, good job. Welcome to our team. A 2-second message just of encouragement is so big, especially in this time where we're all having to distance ourselves from people. We're really kind of starved for that real life, real world human interaction, other than our kids who are going to be home for God only knows how long from school, right? So if we can have a little interaction with some other adults who are like-minded, health-minded, growth, all of that, that's a good thing. You know, connecting with these people, not just Plexus stuff too. You know, what can I pray with you? In fact, if we all even just took a minute today before we finish up, and if you're a prayerful person or not, whichever your beliefs are, just take a couple minutes for our state of the world as it is right now, and all of the vulnerable people who don't even know that they've got these things going on yet, because it's a lot going on, and it's all really hard for people to handle, and so many people are struggling and they don't even know it. So with that vision casting too, and making those connections, if you don't know the people on your team, if you don't know what motivates them. If you don't know, are they a strong family person? Are they a faith-minded person? Do they have issues with stress? Do they have issues with their skin? What's going on in their life? You're not going to be able to connect with them, help motivate and encourage them. So if you know what those things are, you can help them with a plan. One of the things that I have found to really help my people and to help me in turn and all of their people is a thing called vision casting. I am, I guess I would say, a reluctant ambassador. Um, I didn't get in this for the business. I actually got in this for my daughter. My youngest daughter, she was eating non-food things. And when we had her to a specialist for other health related issues, they said, oh, have you ever had her iron checked? And I'm like, oh man, I always run anemic. And it started this whole cascade of me trying to find good supplements for my daughter, which brought me to Elizabeth, which I wanted to get in on the cheapest pricing. She knew me from PT school and she appealed to me that way. And I accidentally got started in this, and it's blossomed into something where, as they're talking today about, well, when the clinic closes, uh, we're going to have to be cutting hours, or who can cut hours. And I could say, you know what? My coworker is a new grad. She needs hours more than I do. I can take some time off because I've got another plan, you know? So if I have to take time off from work, I can allow my coworker to have hours and I don't need them. So it's definitely been a blessing. The other thing too, I have other people on my team who are stay-at-home moms. They have no idea what this business can even give them. So I said, hey friend, you know, if you've got 3 friends that you would like to do this with, and you can find a benefit for them as well, your products are more than paid for. Started getting rolling on that, started getting a few people there. Friend, you realize that if this person got 2 people, this person got 2 people, this person got another people, you've got 10 people on your team and you've got super silver. You've got a $150 bonus. You've got all these pay points on these people, plus these business building bonuses. What would that do for your family? What would that look like? What would that allow you to be able to do? So knowing that this person, her husband's job is not fantastic, in fact, it puts his life at risk on a regular basis. It is not good for their family. We've got a plan for her. She can get her husband out of this situation, which is amazing. So teaching her how to do that, letting her see the vision and go, okay, well, now we've got this many people. If your people under here can each get to silver or can get to this level, guess what? You just hit gold. All right, that's pretty cool. This person is at senior gold now, right? This person is looking at ruby. And by teaching her those skills at the beginning of each month, she can look at her people and say, I know you want to be able to do XYZ, or I know you had your car breakdown and you're having some struggles with that. Or I know I saw your friend posting that she's having trouble with migraines. We can reach out to her and connect with her on this to help her feel better, help her get some extra income, and help you along the way. So if we can show them that dream, because all too often we're so wrapped up in our day-to-day lives that we do not take the time and give ourselves that luxury of allowing ourselves to dream and believe that we can do this. So sometimes we have to share with our friends a little bit of our belief, loan that to them, and believe it or not, the interest they're paying on that comes back at us 10,000 fold, because we see so many blessings in return when we see them say, thank you, I was able to make all my car payments this week, or you know what, I could take this time off from work, or my kid could do soccer, or I sent my kid to camp, or you know what, my child isn't constipated all the time anymore. I mean, it's not just those financial blessings, but so many compounded blessings of health benefits. So it's really quite amazing. And if we don't know our people, we don't connect with our people, we have nothing to go from, right? And we have people of all walks of life. I live in the middle of the woods. I work as a PT. I hunt, I fish, you know, and when I first started getting on these calls and I'd see all these fancy looking people, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I am so not this. I see these perfectly white walls at people's houses and no junk. And I'm going, oh my gosh, this is so not me. I don't belong, you know, or I didn't think I could do this. And my not thinking I could do this was part of the reason it took me 3.5 years to get here. Elizabeth and Rochelle and Debbie, they're like, Jackie, you can do this. And they would be on my hiney to write out goals. And for me, if I write something out, I commit to it. And I can't stand when I commit to something and it doesn't happen. So I would encourage you to encourage your people as well. Ask them every month, what is your goal? What can I do for you? What is your health goal this month? What is your business goal this month? What is your family goal? How can we help you do that? And with the vision casting too, I don't know how many of you are on regular calls or not, but oftentimes my children, especially my little one, has a tendency to hop on calls with me. And it's cool in some ways, even though it's annoying in others, because she knows my friends. You know, she hears their voices on calls. She hears their voices when I'm talking to them on the phone. She knows my friends from Plexus. She wants to be with them. And it's a challenge at first. When you're first learning about this, you may feel you're pulling too much away from your family. And it's a little scary because you're like, how do I not do this with my kid and be on a call and be on book call? And then when my daughter or my husband starts to feel, they feel a little slighted at first. But then when I was able to take my husband on a shooting spree in Las Vegas, not the bad kind, and a helicopter ride, she was able to do we were able to do all of those things, and it didn't cost me a penny. It was from Plexus. Or my kids, they're going to Nashville with us this year. Or my oldest daughter, she's able to go to camp. Or me being able to cut my hours at work. That's a vision that I can share with you, that any of you can do this, you know. It's pretty amazing, and I'm pretty excited to be able to share that from a little backwoods person who was able to stand on stage at Leaders Retreat, having earned all those prizes, having gone to Bloomingdale's. And you guys, still, I have not spent my whole gift certificate. I don't know what to buy at Bloomingdale's. It's ridiculous. I feel guilty spending that money. It's kind of insane. So I just want to take the last 15 minutes here or so, allow you all, because I think connecting is huge. I love being able to connect with you. If you have a question, nobody put any in any of the things or a comment or anything like that, feel free to unmute yourself and I'd love to talk about it. You guys are quiet. Plexus people are not quiet. Come on. I'm going to start scrolling through here and start picking on y'all.
Hi, Jackie. It's Janelle.
Hey, Janelle. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. I'm kind of curious because everybody has a different story about, you know, most of us start as product users and fall in love with the products and then switch over to the business.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like that's kind of what you did too. But I'm curious, was there a certain something that switched your brain, like, I can do this. I want to do this business. Like, what triggered that, or what started that thought?
Well, that's a great question. Honestly, it was Elizabeth harassing me to actually get my butt on team calls. One of my first, sorry, I'm moving here. one of my first team calls that I actually tuned into was the one where Cody was talking about time. And it was all this where we say, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for this. And it was where they said, it's not that we don't have time, it's we haven't made this a priority. And starting to hear from people and starting to change my mindset, I actually started working on my personal growth. I didn't realize I had that much to do, but guess what? I'm still a work in progress, and starting to read. The first book I ever read was The Magic of Thinking Big. And I have to thank Rochelle because she sent that to me, because I actually won it from an IPA chat. And it was huge because I started reading that. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is big. This is big. And when I started to believe more in myself is when my business magically started growing. And it wasn't like one certain thing. It just started growing and building. And then I started getting these paychecks. I'm like, what in the world? Oops, hang on. Gotta get some lights back on here. Hang on. Sorry. Um, but starting to see those things come in, and me being able to decrease my hours from full-time in PT to be able to take care of my family inspired me more to continue to grow my business. So that was kind of where that began. Anybody else? See you live.
I have a question. Did you, so when you might have already shared this and I might have missed it, but when you first started working, were you also working outside the home?
Yeah, and I still do. In the area we're at, we are pretty limited. And so I still work 20 something hours a week as a PT, just because there's such a need in our area. And Courtney, you're the perfect, beautiful white house that was scary for me.
Oh man, I better post some bad pictures of my house for everybody who's like, I can't do this. I'll be like, you want to see the crayons on my walls? I'll show you.
Yes, I want to see the crayons on your walls because I don't believe it. I was like, oh my gosh, Courtney's always got her hair perfect and her house is perfect. And seriously, I've got dog hair tumbleweeds going across my floor. Don't ever look at my floor in the videos. So
and now you see the real me now that you're part of the team. Well, I was going to ask for the working moms who work outside of Plexus, what is your biggest tip for them for managing and really pouring into their Plexus time instead of just tuning out once they get home from work?
Perfect. Yeah. So one of the things that I like to do is I like to try to get up a little bit early in the morning and hop on my exercise bike, and I'll start doing my messages in the morning there. If I don't get a little exercise in, it's not good for me. And then I feel like I'm not wasting time. And then I'll grab a few messages here and there at lunchtime. I try to do a post in the morning, like after I get to work, because there's usually between the time I leave or get up in the morning and the time I get to work, something has struck me that will get me going. And then something throughout the day. And then when I get home at night, I'm usually cooking dinner, getting those things ready. And I'm one of those mean moms who makes my kids go to bed typically before 8 o'clock. So I usually have between a half an hour, an hour in the evening time where I can dedicate to Plexus. And I try not to Plexus too much on the weekends because I want that time to be dedicated more to my family. But I can't say that it's not. There definitely is a balance, and blocking out time to do it specifically and intentionally, you're going to get a whole lot more done than if you just hodgepodge here and there, I've found. Another tip for some of the newer people, sometimes you get a lot of messages and you're like, oh shoot, that got buried. I never got back to that person. I didn't realize at first until my friends shared with me that on your messages, you can put mark as unread. So a lot of times when I don't have the time to dedicate to giving a really good response to that question, I'll mark it as unread so that I make sure that I go back and address it properly. So that's definitely been something that's helped me not miss something. And as a working mom, and we also have a farm too, and help care for my father-in-law who is end-stage renal disease. So we're on the go a lot. And if I can do it, you guys can too. So Anybody
Thank
else?
you. I love that.
Thank you, Courtney. Anybody else have any questions? See you up here. Hey, Mary. And I like, seeing you guys on here. For me to be able to see your faces along with being able to hear from you periodically definitely makes me feel like this is more of a team. And I think in so many different things that I've heard from some of my friends who used to do other network marketing things, it was always just being pushed and always products. They didn't have get-togethers. They didn't have these kind of meetings where you can just connect and talk with each other and grow. And there's oftentimes where we reach out to each other to ask for help with different things, and it's not cutthroat like other stuff. So being able to connect with each other across the levels throughout our team has definitely been something that I didn't realize I needed. And I love that we're able to do that because, like I said, I did not think I needed all these people as my friends, but I can tell you I definitely miss them. And even this weekend, Elizabeth, I was downstate helping my sister move. She took the time out of her day to meet up with me quickly. So it's those little connections, those little bits of hugs and love that we all need that we don't realize it. So anybody else have any questions? Nothing is too weird.
If it's allowed, I have another one.
Awesome. Sure.
Okay, so part of my biggest struggle was actually the fear of becoming a leader, like my self-doubt, and just didn't have belief in myself that I could actually lead a team. Did you struggle with that at all? And if so, what helped you? Like, was there a certain book or did it just happen naturally? What advice do you have for people that struggle with leadership?
Sure. So I still struggle with this. You can ask the people that are closest to me on my team when I said, oh my God, team call last week was so amazing and now I have to follow that crap. I am a middle child. I'm more of a peacemaker kind of person. I don't always see myself as a leader, but if I don't work on being a leader, how do I expect people underneath me to follow? If I can't show strength, I'm always going to be weak. If I can't share that with my friends, with my teammates, they're not going to be strong. They're not going to want to lead. I think that when we have some of our leaders pull us in to help co-lead book clubs or team calls, that's huge. It starts to get our feet wet and starts to open the door for us a little bit. I think too, the personal growth is huge. If you're not reading the books, if you're not getting on the team calls, if you're not working on you and not willing to do that work, you are never going to grow with that, and you're always going to have a struggle unless there's something magical that happens, and there's usually not a lot of magic that happens. So Janelle, you are strong in so many ways, and I see so many of you that are comfortable in the shadows. I'm way more comfortable in the shadows a lot of times myself, but when I'm wanting to grow and I'm looking at what's motivating me, and right now, me not having to go to work tomorrow and be exposed to coronavirus, me being able to be home with my kids who are probably going to be home for the rest of the school year is huge. That's a huge motivator. I don't want to be out there. I don't want my kids to be alone. So that's a big motivator for me. Any other questions? I see so many on here who are such strong leaders, and the fact that you're on here is why your teams are strong and why you're strong leaders and why you don't have very many questions.
I have one. Of course I have one.
Not you.
Yeah, me. can you share your organizational tips? Because Jackie, if we need something like organized, we're like, Jackie, can you do this? Can you make us a spreadsheet? So in terms of keeping track of your IPA, I mean, this is something that gets asked a ton. Like, how do you actually keep track of everything?
Oh, that's a great question too. So one thing, OCD can be good for a lot of things, right? I love spreadsheets. My husband harasses the heck out of me, but when money is tight and I have my budget on a spreadsheet, if he wants to splurge, I can tell him whether we can or not. And honestly, the spreadsheet has gone away because Plexus has given me a lot more freedom. In terms of my IPA, I always, at minimum, do 3-2-1. It's just in my head and making sure that I'm always reaching out to someone. I do like my planner. It's got three different sections in the columns. So like my first column is like appointments and stuff. The second column is, or the second row is stuff that I do for me. And the last column is my Plexus column. And making sure that I'm keeping track of that. And then when I get a new join, making sure I go through there over the next couple of months and put in when I need to follow up with them so I don't kind of brain fart out and forget about it. So that's something that I definitely have found to be quite helpful. And then I also use that when I'm doing the vision casting thing, because then I can put in those points for each thing and see if I plug in for each one, how many points it'll calculate out down the line. And I can share that with my people too. So Google Docs, Google Sheets have been really helpful for me. And I hope that helps someone else too. If you need help with that, you can always PM me and I am willing to share.
Jackie, I'm kind of new ambassador. I'm only a silver right now, but I'm underneath Natalie and Emily, and they always ask me what my why is. So I'm kind of curious as to like what your why is.
Perfect. And you're not just a silver. Congratulations on being silver. It took me a long time to get there, and it is a great start, and you've got some great people leading you. My why started out because I wanted to give my daughter vitamins that didn't have things in them that were harmful for her. So it started for her, and then it evolved into me all of a sudden not being irregular with my periods, not having to take Celebrex on a daily basis. My mom passed away 2 years ago with dementia, and we don't know why. And hormonal birth control has been linked to an increased risk of that. And I never want my kids to lose their mom at an early age like I did, because that started in high school. And then too, we are dealing with my father-in-law and end-stage renal disease and heart disease, and same with my dad. And so many of these things are totally preventable, right? If they had kept track of their diabetes, if they had kept track of so many inflammatory responses, they wouldn't be in the state that they're in. So my why changed from helping my daughter not have natural stuff or unnatural stuff and harmful things, to me being able to actually move and do things with my kids because I'm not hurting all the time, to me not wanting my kids to have to lose their parents and take care of them when they couldn't or didn't need to have that happen. So if your why, or you don't know what it is, sit and think, what's important to you? You know, do you need a couple extra bucks? Do you have bad things that have happened to your family? Do you like helping people? Do you feel like, for me too, I love when somebody's like, I feel better. I'm like, yes, because my personality, I'm a fixer. I'm that crazy middle child. So start just thinking about little things, and those little things and your why can evolve over time. Anybody else? I know it's a minute or two after 10, but I just want to make sure if anybody has any other pressing questions, I don't miss you. Perfect. I just want to thank you guys again. You give me strength. You give me encouragement. I love being able to help you. Thank you for allowing me to lead tonight. Thank you for listening and not booing me out of here, and encouraging me and allowing me to encourage you as well. And if we can all take like 1 minute, just a minute of silence here, and pray for the craziness in our world, the strength, and that we can all keep going strong. So just a minute here. Have a good night, everyone. We'll be talking to you soon.